Hello everyone, and now welcome to Game 3 in this series between Touch and I believe it's pronounced Sephl. We're going to go ahead and increase this to max speed until we get to that 2-minute mark. This is taking place on Twisted Meadows as Sephl is spawning over here on the bottom right-hand side of Twisted Meadows. Meanwhile, on the bottom left, we see Touch. Alright, going to 1 speed now. Heroes are in play as we can see that the Warden is now trying to Ancient of War creep out this Null Overseer creep camp. But are we going to see the Death Knight perhaps try and make a play as well? The ghouls have now run out across the map, and the Death Knight has just now... Is it going to get canceled? I do believe so. We're at the 2-minute 30-second mark, and we still don't have a Death Knight out onto the field. Instead, it's going to be the Fire Lord. And the Fire Lord as an opening hero, I do not remember the last time I saw a Fire or any hero besides the Death Knight in a Death Knight game, unless it was against another Undead player. So yeah, an Undead game without a Death Knight is rather odd. I'm not quite sure. What ability did he get? Did he get the ability? Is it Soulburn? Incinerate. Okay, he got Incinerate. So what happens is that every time you get an attack onto a unit that has Incinerate, the unit actually takes a little bit of additional damage. I would have expected a little bit more there, as we now see Wisp taking a little bit of soul burn damage as well. Alright, let's take a look. We might see an explosion. There goes the explosion as another Wisp may get taken down. Oh, there goes another one, and now the Warden is going to be in a little bit of trouble. Firelord engaging here, trying to take down this Warden. The Warden looks like it is going to get that ghoul, but at what cost? As you can see that's Incinerate is just taking or dealing such a big amount of damage that you can really cause a bit of problems. All right, let's go into an engagement now. There goes the Warden. The Warden is currently... Oh, is it revealed? No dust of appearance. What is that about? Did he buy and sell it very quickly? I couldn't quite hear it, but the Warden is now once again off to the north. Gonna go ahead and Staff of Teleport back over here. There's a whole bunch of ghouls in play, and oh, the Warden is low on hit points. Has to be very careful as the Fire Lord once again is going to show up inside the base. Are we going to see an engagement? There's a Shadow Strike. There goes the Fire Lord. Both of them are dueling it out, fighting inside a Night Elf base at night. Always extremely scary since Night Elf players get better regeneration at night. And the Warden is now down to 94 hit points. Is it going to survive? Yes, it will. And now the Fire Lord needs to be very careful. Oh, Fire Lord falls at level 1 as the ghouls really unable to do very much. All it would have taken was a dust of appearance to really turn things around in this game. This ghoul, for some reason, still fighting off over here. Are we going to get another shot off? Yes, there it goes. This ghoul now needs to get away and perhaps head back home. Meanwhile, the Huntresses are now fighting back as we are trying to get off an Ancient of Wonders. All right. Warden sitting at level 2, may be able to finish off a couple of ghouls here. You can see this ghoul gonna get taken down. Is it gonna get taken down? Yes, there it goes. So far, not quite sure how I'm gonna predict the rest of this game here. The Warden still wandering around, trying to just fight back here. The Warden is going to be able to catch up to all of these units and take them down, especially with a Shadow Strike onto the now slower moving ghoul, as the Warden may even get up to level 3 here if she plays her cards right. All right, there we may see another Shadow Strike. No, not going to even bother with another Shadow Strike, just straight up pathing. Oh, a great denial by the Fire Lord, but that Warden is just so close to level 2 or level 3 already that this game may be all for naught. Archers now running all the way back here. Warden sitting at level 2, picking up Double Circuit of Nobility. Is it going to be able to, yes, use a Clarity Potion, try to get more mana? Needs to finish off one ghoul here. 29 over 50 supply, a massive ghoul army. There's a quick detonation. The Warden does get to level 3 here, so with a level 2 Shadow Strike, should be able to finish off these just running ghouls much more quickly. There's a 150 hit point Shadow Strike. You can see that 30 damage over time really going to start adding up. There goes some more units. There goes one ghoul. There goes another, as the Warden getting closer and closer to halfway to level 4. All right, it looks like another ghoul going to get taken out here, and this is just one of those textbooks instances where hero level is making a big impact in the game. The Huntress now trying to get in front of that Fire Lord, and this Fire Lord gonna be taking that damage over time. That Fire Lord now running back inside his base, down to 147 hit points. But from the confines of his own base, he should be quite fine. Down to 67, down to 53, down to 28. Oh my goodness, down to 8 hit points. And the Warden, once again, the Jailkeeper, able to finish off the other hero again, as the ghouls are now trying to come off the lumber line and help cause a little bit of protection. All right, artificial nightfall could be coming in. Yes, there it goes again. A little bit of extra nightfall, better regeneration on all of the Night Elf heroes, as the Warden now finally taking some cold damage from that Nerubian tower. Maybe force the Staff of Teleport away here. No, going to Shadow Meld in the middle of nightfall, or artificial nightfall, and is able to do exactly that. Head back, drops the Circlet of Nobilities, picks them, or should be picking them back up momentarily, or maybe grabbing a Clarity Potion first, or nope, uses the last Moonwell and now is rather happy. All right, let's go ahead. Are we going to see another artificial nightfall? These Moonwells are rather dry right now, but she may decide that she wants to use the nightfall advantage while she's attacking. Let's take a look at this. The Fire Lord still seen at level 1. Halls of the Dead. In play, not in Necropolis. Tree of Ages is now currently being teched, as well as the Fire Lord on just constantly getting detonated, unable to really do very much. Trying to use that Incinerate ability is just a little bit of a risky maneuver. All right, in comes the Warden. The Warden can get off some easy shots onto the ghouls again, and there goes another ghoul. The Warden dealing so much damage here as the ghouls are once again trying to run away. Are we going to see another ghoul get taken out? Yes, we will. And that Warden, now already up to level 4, has probably killed about half a dozen, if not more, ghouls. However, now we see a transition into gargoyles, and this is what I was expecting in Game 1. I was really expecting more gargoyles in Game 1. We didn't see them now, and now we may actually need to see a very, very heavy archer production. There's already 3 archers here, so this may be exactly what the Doctor ordered, as the Wisp are now currently taking a bit of damage. There are a whole bunch of archers already in position to try and protect all of those Wisps. That's not going to work out well, but perhaps he could go ahead and try to take down the Huntresses. The Huntresses are rather vulnerable, and another thing that the Fire Lord could do is try and clear out the corner creep camps. All of those red drakes and dragons getting caught in the corners could be a really, really big play here. Touch gonna end up losing one Huntress at the very least here if he's not careful. No, that one very low hit point Huntress running all the way back. The Gargoyles are in position and able to finish off one of those Huntresses. However, now the Gargoyles are trying to go toe-to-toe or arrow-to-arrow against these archers, and that is not going to be a good fight, as we now see the blinking Warden wandering or blinking forward, trying to get in some quick kills, but unable to do so. Fire Lord now being brought over, only sitting at 130 mana. I'm not really sure what the Fire Lord can really do in a matchup like this. Things just seem to be stacked up against Sephl right now. Sephl just in a bit of trouble. What can he really do? Meanwhile, the Fire Lord sitting at level 2 could try and do a little bit of creeping as well, but the problem is going to be these Gargoyles need to really level up this Fire Lord, but it's not going to be able to do so because of the number of archers. The Warden now with 3 Circlets of Nobility plus 6 on every stat, so for all intents and purposes, almost a level 6 Warden stat-wise. Very, very strong, but I still don't know what's going to be happening next. Let's take a look. The Gargoyles now just wandering around here, trying to take or deal superficial damage to the Altar of Elders. Coming back around, they are still flying around. The Warden may try to venture forth. The Fire Lord sitting inside his base, not being able to do very much of anything. And this game is looking absolutely one-sided, as another Wisp going to get taken down there. Perhaps they can try to take down more and more Wisp. Another Wisp does get taken down, but at the cost of a Gargoyle. And that really does not make any sense whatsoever. So another Gargoyle taken down there, as the Gargoyles are still wandering around here. Perhaps if we had a way to really deal with these archers, that would be a better play. Meanwhile, the Panda of the Night Elf player has been started picking up Drunken Haze first to try and do a bit of creeping. So we see a two-prong attack coming in from Touch. Touch playing at a high level, controlling multiple heroes and his army back at home while trying to creep. If this Panda can actually get to level 3, the Gargoyle threat will pretty much be nullified in a moment's notice. But another thing I'm wondering about is why isn't Touch just trying to pick up a Goblin Shredder? If he's really worried about lumber, one Goblin Shredder would really solve all of his problems, as Goblin Shredders are not can be repaired rather easily. They have higher hit points, and they can just harvest a whole bunch of lumber while the archers are able to protect them. Alright, here you go. You can see that the gargoyles are going to do a little bit of an engagement here. There goes that gargoyle down to 162 hit points. Off to the north, one gargoyle sitting off over there. We are at Halls of the Dead. This Fire Lord not doing anything still. And the Warden, what did it take out? I believe the Warden took out a gargoyle in transit, as all the gargoyles are still just flying around the map, hoping to make a bit of a play. Panda sitting at level 2 may even get to level 3 here. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire doing a bit of a job onto all of the units there. There's a little bit of just dodging continually. The Panda down to 98 hit points though, has to be extremely careful. There it goes, Tome of Intelligence. It looks as though one Ogre Magi will get taken down. Ring of Regeneration, a rather nice item. Level 3 now on the Panda, as Touch setting up an expansion as well. Alright, this is looking very, very good for Touch. Touch is starting to stabilize, even though there is a large contingency of gargoyles up in the air causing problems. Trying to go Hippogriffs, trying to go Dryads. Really what you need is a level 3 Panda. Staff of Teleportation. There you have it. This one gargoyle did spot the expansion. Meanwhile, down over here, the Warden is in position as well. So the Warden, without an Orb of Venom, won't be able to really protect against the gargoyles, but may be able to at least Shadow Strike to try and get some kills. Alright, let's take a look at this. The Huntresses now creeping by themselves. Gargoyles trying to fight off to the side here. You can see the Wisp are just running around continually, as the Panda is here as well. Gargoyle off to the north, not really doing very much. All of these gargoyles now heading back. The Fire Lord sitting at level 2, getting very, very close to level 3, as Wisp after Wisp after Wisp is falling. We are going into Black Citadel. I don't see an additional hero though, so I'm not quite sure what this Fire Lord is really gonna try and do. Let's make our way over. Gargoyles coming into position. You can see that there is a Panda and the Warden in position here. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire. And are we going to get a Shadow Strike? Yes, there is a Shadow Strike now. And the Panda could try to get off another Breath of Fire here in just a moment. That could be a bit of a problem if the Gargoyles don't realize what's going to happen. There's another Breath of Fire. Where is the Orb of Venom? No Orb of Venom. There's a cancellation. And without a Fan of Knives, this Gargoyle army is still rather just taking down units over time. Alright, the Warden's trying to keep track of or keep up with all of these units. Panda doesn't have enough mana. Really needed an Orb of Venom there. We are at Tree of Eternity. Don't know why we don't have an Orb of Venom when you know your opponent is going mass gargoyles. Back down over here. Warden sitting at level 4. Panda sitting at level 3. Going after this creep camp here. The Warden should get to level 5. Tome of Retraining. No big surprise there. Needs to get Fan of Knives to really deal with that. And Fan of Knives plus Breath of Fire equals the ultimate counter to Undead Gargoyles. Undead Gargoyles has pretty much been the one thing that's been keeping the Undead in this game, but it's more of a harassment technique as opposed to a way of winning. So far, it's only slowed down Touch. Touch, though, with plus 12 attack, very, very strong, has invisibility as well, could jump in Fan of Knives and attempt to take down many of these acolytes in a moment's notice. There is one gargoyle still sitting off over here, not really using these gargoyles to the best of their ability, I believe. Perhaps even if they had stone form, that would be just a bit better, as you can see that the Warden could try and blink and now goes after another acolyte there. All right, there is a Dust of Appearance, incinerate onto the Warden. The Warden really not dealing that much damage. Well, I believe there was a soul burn on it as well. And now the Warden trying to get away will be able to do exactly that, as it is now... Oh, yeah, soul burn, as the Warden now tries to get back home. All right, soul burn, reducing the damage, and also... I believe soul burn also silences the unit. Soul burn, one of those abilities that you don't get to see very often. Circuit abilities now being dropped as the Warden drinks up enough Moonwell juice and will be able to do a bit more. Are we going to perhaps see an Orb of Venom? Yes, Orb of Venom finally on the Warden to go ahead and try to take down those air units. I don't know, it feels like a foregone conclusion unless somehow the Night Elf player Touch makes a drastic mistake. This is actually his game to lose if and only if he makes some sort of tragic mistake. He is ahead. He has an extra hero. Both of his heroes are higher up in level, and he has much better items. Here we go. There goes the Warden going in once again, taking down unit after unit, and may be able to even take down another one of those units back over here. Are we going to perhaps see a Staff of Teleportation? Armor at minus... Is that really -2? Damage reduction, 19. Wow. Orb of Corruption really adding onto it, and the Warden barely escapes there. It looks as though, yes, the Orb of Corruption on a Fire Lord, something you don't often see. But since the Fire Lord is going more for in Soul Burn, that I guess that does make sense. Very strong debuffs there. All of a sudden, having such a high armor unit, the Warden go from 9 armor to -2. That is a huge effective damage decrease, or effective hit point decrease. All right, let's go ahead and finish off this creep camp down over here. Boots of Clout the Loss, +6 agility. Not quite sure why it's on the Panda. Really belongs onto this poor Warden. The Warden at +15 damage right now could really use it to get up to +21, but then again, you'd have to sacrifice either a Staff of Teleportation or those Boots of Speed, or just get an additional +4 off of the Circlet of Nobility, but then you lose a little bit of mana boost as well. All right, here we go. This is what I was talking about. Going after the red dragons in the corner, trying to take down the units. There goes the big red dragon. Really should have dropped in the hero as well. You can see that the Stoneform Gargoyles are just regenerating those hit points pretty easily. Scroll of Restoration, a very nice item, and this might actually be what gets the Undead army back into play. Let's come back over here. Warden is now... Yeah, Warden is still just constantly being tracked here. The Warden is going to be able to just blink straight inside the base. Fan of Knives takes down 2 acolytes at a moment's notice. There is a full incineration or full soul burn right there, as the Warden is now going to be going up against all of those gargoyles. The gargoyles should be trying to stone form right there, and at that yes, he better run again. There is all of those stone form gargoyles regenerating on Blight very fast. You can see those hit points regenerating about 3 to 4 hit points a second, allowing those stone form gargoyles to really make a big difference. All right, let's take a look. The Fire Lord sitting at level 4 now. If the Fire Lord tries and picks up a Zeppelin, well, it needs to clear out this creep camp first. Let's go ahead. Boulder to the head as the Fire Lord takes a bit of damage. Now needs to try and finish off all of these units here. -5 armor. There's a bit of slow. Let's take a look back over here. Warden now invisible again, ready to venture forth and do a bit more damage. However, the Warden does not have a Staff of Teleportation any longer, just the Potion of Invulnerability. There's a Fan of Knives trying to finish off more units, and there goes another Acolyte. There goes another Acolyte as the Warden is currently revealed. Oh, this is bad news. Potion of Invulnerability used instead, trying to go after all these units. You can see 7 seconds of invulnerability. She's going to blink out of there, realizing that that is not a position she wants to be in. All right, coming back around. Shade just keeping track of the bases. Where is the Panda? You can see Staff of Teleportation off over here. The Panda now up to level 5 already. This is still just waiting and waiting for Touch to finish off his opponent. Sitting at 71 over 80 supply compared to 41 over 50. This is a one-way fight so far. And it feels like it's just prolonging the inevitable. The Undead really hasn't been using his time all that well. There is a Scroll of Restoration. Perhaps if he can clear out another corner creep camp, that might even give him level 5, but that's going to mean that his army is rather far away from home. Firelord now wandering around. Going to the corners of Firelord down over here. Hippogriffs now going to be brought into play as well, as the Warden and the Dryads and the Archers are all together. Here you go. This may be the final hurrah for the Undead. Single bear in there as well. There's a roar. That is a lot of damage on those Hippogriffs. And there is a Breath of Fire as well. Are we going to perhaps get a Soul Burn? There goes, Sacrificial Pit. This has been a long one-sided battle, as the skeletal minions are now finally being brought forward. They're going to get picked apart pretty easily. And the Warden, level 5, the Panda sitting at level 5, a very, very strong army combination. Doesn't even have any glaives, but doesn't really care, since the Panda has really been the one taking down the buildings with that Breath of Fire. All right, let's go ahead. Are we going to see perhaps a Fan of Knives? Fan of Knives back over here, finishes off the ghouls. Where are those gargoyles? The gargoyles are still right there, and let's take a look at this. Massive repairing underway. We could perhaps see a Drunken Haze Breath of Fire, but the gargoyle is able to stone form just long enough to cause problems, and now trying to go after the Panda. Staff or a Scroll of Restoration, but still not going to be enough there, as all the units are right there. There is the GG, there's the well played, and Touch just showing that he is on a completely different level than Sephl. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, hope you guys enjoyed it.